Alright, we're back with Unit 3, Lesson 2, solving equations using multiplication and division. Okay, and there's your objective. Let's get started. Okay, so we got our two examples here, and again, we need to solve these equations using opposite operations. Okay, so our job is to isolate this variable right here, to get it by itself. So this says 24 equals negative 2 times a. So I gotta think, what's the opposite of times? And the opposite of times is divide. So we're going to divide both sides. I'm going to use the fraction bar to represent that just because I think it's a little neater. And you always divide, always multiply, divide, add or subtract, whatever it is, by the number that's on the same side as the variable. Okay? So we had to get rid of a negative 2, or times negative 2, and we're going to do that by dividing by negative 2. So we divide by negative 2. Okay? The reason we do that is because negative 2 divided by negative 2, that's just 1, so they cancel out. Okay, so I get a by itself, and then 24 divided by negative 2 is negative 12. Again, I like flipping these around. So a equals negative 12. Okay, and here's another one. Negative 12j equals negative 48. Again, we're going to divide, and we're going to divide by the same number that's on the side as the variable. So we're going to divide by negative 12 on both sides. Negative 12 divided by negative 12 cancels, give me j equals, and negative 48 divided by negative 12 is 4. Okay, let's move on to some more. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more examples with fractions this time. We solve these the same way. So this first one is 3.5 times t equals 5 1/4. So we're going to divide on both sides by the number that's with the variable. So we're going to divide by 3.5. And 3.5 divided by 3.5 is 1, so that makes 1t. Now, 5 1/4 divided by 3.5. We cannot do this problem like this, so I need to rewrite it. 5 1/4 divided by 3.5. Now, again, I've got fractions, so we have to, or I got mixed numbers. We have to change mixed numbers to fractions first. So this one is 21/4 divided by, this one becomes 7/2. And now we know when we divide with fractions, we got to have some flipping fun. So we keep the first number the same. Change it to fun, multiply, and flip the second number, so it's 2/7. Now we can cross simplify, okay, to make this easier. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. So I've got 3 times 1 on top is 3. Let's erase that a little bit at least. 3, and on the bottom 2 times 1 is 2, 3 halves. Okay, you could rewrite that as 1 1/2. You don't have to, though. This is a perfectly fine simplified fraction. Okay, let's go on to the last one. Well, on this one I already got y by myself, so all I have to do is the division problem on this side here. So I'm just going to have some flipping fun. So I'm going to have y equals, and I'm going to change the 5 1/4 to 21/4 divided by 3/7. Notice I'm showing my work in steps, okay? So I didn't have flipping fun right away. I changed my mixed number to a fraction first. Now I have flipping fun. Leave the first number the same. Change it to multiply. 7/3. Oh, 3 and 21 simplify. 7 times 7 is 49/4. And that does not simplify. There's nothing that goes into both 49 and 4. Now you could make this 12 1/4 if you wanted to, but again, you don't have to. Okay, it's extra work you don't really need to do. This is already simplified. Okay, let's go on to more examples. Okay, we got 2 more division examples for you. We've got 3/4 equals a/12. Okay, so really what I'm trying to do is figure out 3/4 is equal to what number over 12. Well, 2 different methods you can use here. Okay, we can go the easy way with this. We can say that 4 times what gives me 12? Well, 4 times 3 gives me 12. And if I do that to the bottom, I have to do it to the top 2. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so we should have a equals 9. Okay, however, when we get to more difficult problems, especially dealing with a lot of fractions and stuff, that's not going to work so well. So we have to have another method. Okay, and the other method that we can use is cross multiplying. Okay, so I can multiply together numbers that are across from each other. So 3 times 12, that's 36, equals. Then I can do 4 times a. Well, that's just 4a. now I can solve this equation that I've written myself here. Okay, so I divide by 4 on both sides. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Sorry about the bell. And 36 divided by 4 is 9. And I would flip that around and get a equals 9. Okay, so for our second example, we're going to just use the cross-multiplying method to make this, or because you're going to have to know this anyway. So let's go ahead and use cross-multiplying method. So the first thing I'm going to do is you'll notice this negative sign here. Okay, we got a negative right here. It doesn't matter if you attach the negative sign to the 3 or to the 5, but it's got to go to only one of them. Okay, because let's say it was negative 3 divided by 5, then a negative divided by a positive gives me a negative answer. If it was 3 divided by negative 5, then we still get a negative answer. But if they were both negative, say it was negative 3 divided by negative 5, then it would be a positive, and we wouldn't have this negative sign here. Okay, so attach this negative sign to one of them, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and attach it with the 3, because I think it'll be easier for the multiplying purposes. So 30 times negative 3, that's negative 90. Then we got 5 times c, that's 5c. And now we're going to divide by 5 on both sides. Get c by itself. And negative divided by positive is a negative. And 90 divided by 5 is 18. So c equals negative 18. Okay, got one more example. And before we do that last example, I guess I should say again, I want you to use the cross-multiplying method for these kind of problems, okay? When they're set up like this, get used to using the cross-multiplying method, because you will need to know that for later. So don't use this one I showed you. Use the cross-multiplying method. All right, let's go to the next example now. Okay, here we got a problem where we got two similar triangles, and we're trying to find the length of a side, okay? We got two steps here. First step is to set up a proportion. Then we're going to solve for the unknown, okay? So we're going to solve for this x right here, or side DE. So when we have similar triangles, that means that corresponding sides, they're called, are proportionate to each other, okay? So like side CB right here, this 5, matches up with, it's proportionate to this 10. Okay, side AC would be proportionate with side DF, and side AB would be proportionate with side DE. Okay, these little tick marks in the angles just mean that those angles are equal to each other. So B and E are equal, C and F are equal, and A and D are equal. Okay, and that will help us match up the sides, because if you look at side CB, one of the angles has one tick mark and the other angle has two. So we know that that matches up with side FE because one angle has one angle has two. Okay, so if this was turned around, we would have to use the angles to figure out what sides go together. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up a proportion. Okay, and what we're going to do is you can do this two different ways. I'm going to set up a proportion with triangle 1 on one side, and we're going to set it equal to triangle 2. Okay, we'll call the small one triangle 1. So I'm going to put the two sides of that triangle in a ratio, okay, meaning one number on top of the other. So I'll start with the small one and put 5 on top over 7 on the bottom. Okay, so we got 5 on the top, 7 on the bottom. Those are both numbers from triangle 1. Okay, now I'm going to erase my equal sign here, I think. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Alright, so that's not going to work. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and keep it where it is, even though it looks kind of funny. So again, 5 over 7, those both come from triangle 1. Then we need to match up the corresponding sides. So on top, we need to match up the side that went with 5. Well, the side that matched up with 5 was 10, so that number has to go on top. And the side that matches up with 7 is my x. That's the side I want to know. So again, we're going to use cross products and solve this. So we're going to do 7 times 10 and get 70 equals, then 5 times x is 5x. And we're going to divide by 5 on both sides. And get, sorry about my cold, get x is equal to 14. Okay, so 14 equals x. So the side of length D, now we have to answer the question. We know that x is 14. Now the question is, what is the length of the side? So the answer is 14 inches. Okay, that's it for the lesson. Happy homeworking.